Welcome to Manifesting Through Motherhood. I'm your host, Lindsay Williams, a self-development mentor, entrepreneur and author, dedicated to helping busy mums like you manifest success, balance and create passive income on your terms. With years of experience in mindset, manifestation, fitness, parenting and business growth, I share simple yet powerful strategies to help you transform your life without the overwhelm. If you're ready to up-level your mindset, build a thriving business and create the life you truly deserve, you're in the right place. You can also find all my books on Amazon, packed with tools to help you manifest and grow. So don't forget to follow the podcast to be updated on all new episodes. And let's get going. Welcome back to the podcast. We have a guest on today. It's the driving force behind Ultimate Health by Ellie. As a CMA-approved holistic life and nutrition coach and a PNN master health coach, Ellie brings a wealth of knowledge and passion to her practice. With a unique blend of cutting-edge science and ancient wisdom, she's dedicated to helping individuals transform their energy, food, focus, mood and weight and overall health. So welcome, Ellie, to the podcast. I mean, you've just got so much to offer, and it's fantastic for our listeners as well. So welcome, and finally got you on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. So tell us a little bit, who is Ellie? Everybody knows Ellie, but who is the real Ellie?
Tell you what, Ellie is definitely self-confessed science geek. My whole past lives are all science-based, so that's it was a mix of that, my background, that got me into this. But yeah, the finding out why stuff works, how stuff works.
So when did you start just exploring this, this side of you and the health and wellness? Has it always been a part of your life, or has there been a moment where you thought, right, that's it, I'm just going straight into this health, focus?
So there's probably two main reasons behind it. Firstly was my own personal journey. My background is, I did some admin work, and then I went into about 12 years of primary school teaching. And through that, and even prior to that, my own personal physical and mental health, and particularly my mental health, were just on a permanent roller coaster. And when I look back at what I was eating, drinking, my confidence levels, they were all over the place. And it actually took me probably hitting a bit of an all-time low to think, right, now something has got to change. So I actually started going to a coach myself. The biggest thing I learned from them was that you are in control of your own life if you choose to be. And however ridiculously simple that sounds, that thought and getting my head around that transformed my life. So I transformed my life. I changed careers. I built a business, completely reinvented myself as a person purely by changing nutrition and mindset. And as I went down that path, I started to notice, particularly towards the end of my teaching career, how many other women were struggling on all these on and off diets, not eating properly, not looking after their mental health. So I grew that passion that I could see how I could help them.
So what was it like when you was teaching? Did you find there was a lot of pressure at teaching? How was your mindset then to where it is now?
I would say, teaching is a crazy roller coaster, and there is genuinely so much to love about it. The kids, for a start, absolutely loved every single child that I worked with. The experiences you have, 1 minute you're teaching maths in the classroom, and next minute you've got to go first caving somewhere in North Yorkshire in the freezing cold to prove that I can do it, so that they're brave enough to do it. So it's absolutely brilliant. But emotionally, most teachers, I'm sure it's not just me, I'm sure it's most teachers, put their absolute heart and soul and emotional energy into those kids. And the unfortunate side to that is you don't necessarily leave any to yourself outside of that. So that's where particularly helping people like teachers to look after their energy so that they can be their best self for those kids, but also for their families and for at home as well.
Yeah, so you're probably used to working probably with a lot of females as well. So you probably, I know I gravitate, when I worked in the gyms, and the women just used to come over to me and say, you've had a child, can you help me? And because it's in me transforming my life and just getting on with it. I think once people see you doing it and the change in you, people, that's like proof in the pudding, isn't it? You're practicing what you're doing, and people can see that and the benefits. And people that know you personally must have seen a change. And I think people see a change when you go from one career to the next, especially since I done other things and then doing this now. It's just self-development is combined everywhere, really, isn't it? And that's with food and health and goal setting. I can't imagine not goal setting now and doing all these things. And it shocks me when people do not look after themselves and just go and buy rubbish food at the shops and they don't prepare food. And I go, why don't you just prepare food the night before? Just put some stuff in a box. And they're like, well, and they spend a lot of money as well going out, don't they? Just buying foods from, like a meal deal. But it's costly and there's a lot of added extras in there, isn't there?
I think it's helping people realize it's not complicated. It doesn't need to be expensive. It doesn't need to take more time. I think something that really brought it home recently, I mean, I can make breakfast, you can make an omelette, you can make eggs on toast in probably about 3 or 4 minutes. My partner wanted to get was it a Burger King or a KFC in a service station recently. By the time he had done his little order on the machine, queued and waited for what seemed like hours, I'd had my lunch that I brought with me. I'd been for a wander around the shop. I think I'd gone and got myself a hot drink. So time, it's like, actually, I can show you how to make really quick meals. And absolutely, I think just really learning about what is in foods. Because there's that Maya Angelou quote that I love. It's the do the best you can until you know better, and then do better. And I actually did a live on it the other day about how the more you dig into it, what marketing companies have worked out is good to do is putting things like sugar and artificial sweeteners even into savory foods because they're addictive. Whether it's artificial sweeteners or sugars, it's addictive because it gives you that dopamine hit. It gives you that feel good hit. So what they do is they put the sugars into the foods, mask them with savory things. When you eat their food, whether it is a cereal bar, whether it is a pasta, microwave meal, you get that dopamine hit, then it crashes down, then you want that again because you associate that thing as feeling good. So it's kind of understanding all that and working out you can just make real, simple, tasty, chicken and veg, bolognese, fish and veg, proper food.
Just prepping. So do you have, I know my partner, he eats different foods to me, but he is quite good. He's, has a good health and weight, but he does have a lot of like chocolate. He just before coming to this podcast, he just walked out the fridge with a bag of Maltesers. I'm like, what are you doing? And because he's changed his shifts now, so he's off all week. And I'm like, you don't want to be putting weight on. And he drinks Diet Coke all the time. I'm like, it's not good for you. And he's like, stop lecturing me. I'm like, you know what? It's just completely up to his blood pressure's fine, his cholesterol's fine. I said, but one day things are going to change and you can't. So I think I secretly just peck his head a little bit, but yeah, he's not for one for changing just straight away. But he can eat probably what he wants. He's one of them people that can eat what he wants, and probably never anything will affect him. But there's other people that will affect the blood pressure and cholesterol. So what type of people do you work with then in your community? Do you see, people that come and work with you? Are they low confidence? Are they struggling with low mood? Or, are they struggling with sugar addiction? What type of, are you seeing a trend at the minute people are struggling with?
Probably the two biggest things are energy, because people come to me for weight loss, but actually they quite often say, but energy is the priority. Because a lot of these, like you've been talking about, these grab and go foods give you a quick fix energy and then you crash. So your moods are all over. So a lot of the women I work with tend to be 40s, 50s, premenopause, menopause, because there's a lot of things you can again do with nutrition that reduce the symptoms. A lot are actually to do with what you're eating. And another common theme is women who say, I've tried everything. They feel like they've tried, they'll list them off of like keto and slimming programs and low carb and high carb and low fat, and list a lot. They have done it and they just want to try something different that works.
It is just basic. It's just eat natural foods. That's all it is, isn't it? Prep your food, natural foods, nothing that's in a packet. But we still do that. We still go out, we still drink, we still have takeaways, which is fine in moderation. But it's just years ago when I was younger, there wasn't like loads of takeaways. There was a McDonald's, but our parents didn't have the money to keep going to McDonald's all the time. But everything's so accessible now. You've got Uber Eats, and that's worse. And you've got workplaces. They was bringing Jacob's joining. I've worked in places where they're always bringing cakes and donuts in. Then they'll go on a health cake and they'll bring some oranges. Then they'll go back to cakes. And it's critical when you're working in a workplace, because how I always I talked about it years ago when I used to work in gym. You do follow that herd, and you can create this culture, because as soon as everybody in the workplace is doing the same thing, everybody starts to gain weight. But if one person just goes on a diet, and I used to do it in hairdressing, someone would go on a diet and they said, right, let's get a tally chart, let's see who can lose so many pounds a week, and we'd have a little chart going. But then you'd lose track, like you say, then you'd go on that, and then you'd go on another diet, then you go on like SW and WW, and you were like, oh no, and you can't keep up with them, can you? And then you put the weight back on.
The thing with that is, if you're telling me you're going on a diet, that suggests it's a temporary thing you're doing. Whereas for me, it's like the anti-diet. I don't want you on a diet. I want you on a plan that you can enjoy every day for the rest of your life. Because if you're going to go on a diet and come off a diet, logic is that you went back where you started, or actually if it's been a deprivation diet, or you've not got enough protein in, your metabolism's dropped and you can actually end up heavier than you've started. So one of the biggest things that women tend to miss is getting enough protein in, because they associate protein and muscle with like gym bunnies and men and the Hulk. And it's like, actually, you're not going to look like the Hulk. You'd have to take probably a lot of steroids to get there. But if you can up level your protein, you reduce those cravings. You support lean muscle, which supports your metabolism. And the more lean muscle you have, the more calories you burn, even just while sitting watching Netflix. So if you actually reset your thinking to, I'm not eating and exercising to lose weight, I'm eating and exercising to build muscle. You're not going to get, I do weights at the gym every morning. I definitely don't look like the Hulk, but you do then more energy naturally.
Yeah, that's the thing. People's, body types are different, and this is what we got taught in the gyms. I used to train a lot of people. I did used to, I think, attract a lot of people that was into strength and conditioning, because that's what I used to do boxing. They wanted that more ripped look, so then I would have to give them an eating plan to support that. But I'd say to them, it's not something that I would recommend you going on. It would be like a 12-week program for the hypertrophy look. But then you're not going to keep on top of it, because you're going to be hungry, and then they always say to me, when can I have a cheat day? And I used to feel really guilty, but a lot of them wanted to do, sports performance, work. So when you are going for something like that, I can understand people sticking to programs. But I know loads of people that go on 12-week programs, they look amazing, but they do so much damage to the body because they're on the diet, they're back off, and then they're putting loads of protein in the body. The kidneys are going to get in trouble, because then they stop doing the protein, and then they go on another diet. So honestly, and then when we get into our 30s, 40s, we don't lose it like I don't feel like we used to. But our bodies do change, and not like when we was in my 20s. Some people don't used to worry about it. You could just do whatever you need to do. But I don't know, it seems when you get to 40, things do change slightly. Or if you have children.
I think it's absolutely, they get harder, because we do naturally lose muscle, and as hormones change as well, it gets trickier. So then things like eating enough healthy fats, because that supports hormone balance. Again, they're getting your proteins in. But yeah, accepting that it's a little bit different in your 20s, because when I was in my early 20s, I could have like the takeaway pizza and the free garlic bread that came on the side, and the half bottle of vodka, whatever else you had with it at that age. And then you go to the gym and do what's probably 5 sit-ups. It's like, oh, there you go, flat stomach. Whereas absolutely, I'm in my 40s now. It doesn't work the same. You have to adjust, but it's choosing whether you go, I can't get to where I want because of my age, or because of my genes, or because of menopause, or going, it's more of a challenge, but absolutely I can get myself to a place where I'm looking and feeling my best.
Yeah, it is hard to be weight challenged. The only time, I was really weight challenged is when I had my C-section. I was doing a lot of sports, kickboxing, and things just changed. I had a section, I couldn't do what I did for about a year. I couldn't feel my stomach for about 2 years. It was completely numb. Don't know why, I just didn't get any feeling back because it was such a big baby. But like you say, I had to just adapt, and things have changed. But I mean, a lot of my friends' bodies have changed, which is fine. But like in this last couple of months, I have really been on it. So, it's honestly, I just go back to basics now. There's no diet. It's just I've been doing a little bit of fasting, just not eating as much because my sugar level started to go up really high. So I had a bit of a scare with the doctors. So I'm on this now. So I'm hopefully in March my sugars have come back down, and they couldn't understand with my cholesterol being so low and my background fitness. And I said, yeah, but I'm not doing that now. I'm not working in a gym. I am not training. I was training 80% of my fitness. I was constantly boxing and doing all that. I said, but I've stopped doing that now. I just train myself at home. And so it does change. My body's changed. It's had a huge shock. So I have to adapt. I can't be eating what I eat because of the exercise isn't as high. So I think people think they can still eat the same. But when you're eating, you still have to look at that energy out versus energy in. So do you have any favourite rituals or mindset hacks that keeps you feeling energized and balanced that you can share?
I think mine is really not for everyone, which is my alarm goes at 5 o'clock in the morning. By 3 minutes past 5, I'm out of bed, and by 5:30, I'm at the gym. And that's whether I've got a busy day or not, whether I can go for 20 minutes or not. But it was actually an American lady who got me into the 3 minutes past 5 thing, because if you set your alarm and you say, I'll get up at about 15:15 or in about 15 minutes and make it vague, that can drag on. She said, if you choose a specific time, like 3 minutes past, you can't negotiate 3 minutes past. So I get up, and what that getting up in the morning at that time does is it gives me this section of time when half the world isn't awake, when I can get up, be in my own head, relax, focus. I come home from the gym, I make breakfast, I sit in front of the telly, I have a cup of tea, and it's like before I then pick up my phone or the world starts, I've had proper me time. And I know it's really different if you have kids. I really do understand that. But I think a lot of people kind of get up as late as they can before starting work. But then where's that just moment to yourself? So I think even if you can get up 20 minutes earlier, get up, do a stretch, have a cup of tea, open the curtains, something like that. Find that little bit at the beginning of the day that you don't start straight onto your phone, straight into work life, straight into, straight on the treadmill.
My husband can't understand why. He said, I wake up some mornings, you're not here. You're downstairs. I mean, I was usually going to the gym, but I got like a walking pad here. He said, then I wake up and then I can hear actually the movement underneath the bedroom. But I said, because before my son gets up and he goes crazy, I like to come down here. So I'll do my journal. I've got my manifested diary. I write in that, look at what I'm doing for the day. I'll make a brew the same, and I'll have all my gym stuff here ready just to jump on the treadmill, do my weights, my core work, maybe do a YouTube workout. And then it's still quite early and it's still quite dark at the minute outside. And then I'll have a shower. Sometimes I've got the luxury to have a bath because everyone's still asleep. My son probably don't get up till after 7, so I'm still up quite early. And like you, I can get so much done. And there is, like I say to mums, there's no excuse. I'm a mum, I've got a teenager. It still works for me, because if you can't do it on an evening, we have to do it in the morning, even if it's 3 times a week. I said, because we do just get sidetracked on an evening, and we do say we'll do it later, but then we don't always do it later because we could be that tired. So if what I say to people is like, go to bed a bit early the night you're going to work out, maybe an hour just to get up that hour. If you are, I mean, not everyone's a morning person like us. My mum always said, you've always been a morning person. You're always up, you can jump straight out of bed. Which is really good, but I think I probably just train myself to do like yourself. Your body just adapts to it, and you look forward to it, and it's like your time to get, like you say, not looking at your phone, getting prepared. And it is fun, isn't it? Actually, we're actually online at that time in the morning. You don't feel like you need to go on your phone because who's up at that time? So I did used to get up about 5, but I do get up probably a little bit later now because, yeah, it's just the way I do things. But once the weather goes a lot lighter, I'm guessing I'm probably going to get up even earlier.
You know what? You can reset habits though, because there's things that I'm like now, and there's things that I eat now and do now and don't do or don't want, that old me would be thinking, wouldn't believe it. They'd be lying in bed with the leftover pizza from the night before and go, what you doing, woman, kind of thing. But you can change these habits. One of the ladies in my group now, just how she said it's a 15-minute exercise routine. It's nothing major. She does it at home. She found a little routine that she enjoys doing. And I think it comes down to just do something, because let's say if you go every morning, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do an hour workout, you won't because days don't always work like that. If you have a minimum, that the minimum I'm going to do every morning is get up and do this, commit to something small.
Yeah, and I say to people, you just got to adapt with exercise. You know, if you've got a disability, you can do so many exercises. I used to teach like in-chair exercises. You've got your TheraBand. You can do so much. Right? People say, what can I do at home? Like, there's so much. Just do body weight exercise. You can get dumbbells really cheap, or just get some baked beans. And you know, if people got bad knees, I said, just like you say, you find your own little thing that's for you. You don't have to tell everybody about it. What about when you was teaching? Was you in this mindset then, or did you just get up and then go straight to work? Because I think it's hard being a teacher because the cognitive side's quite challenging, and I do know a lot of friends that have come out of teaching because of stress, and they felt like they just didn't get time to go to the gym, to look after themselves, and there was marking and doing lesson plans after work to like 10, 11 o'clock at night. So it was crazy.
It's one of those things that in hindsight I could switch it round, because no, it didn't work as well. What I like to do is I like to get into my classroom by 7 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
I would start work then, especially when I was a younger kid, year one, because there's more prep to do. And I like to work through. I'd have a 10-minute break at lunch, and I would stay in the classroom until 6 o'clock in the evening. Beginning of my teaching career, I was forever taking these massive piles of books home that you then drag out for hours trying to get them marked. By the last few years of my teaching career, I worked out if I got into the classroom at 7 and I stayed there till 6, I didn't have to take work home,
That's
unless it was
good, that.
reports seasons and things like that. Yeah, so people who think teachers leave at 3 o'clock, it's not quite, but so then I had this idea that, a couple of evenings a week I would go home via the gym, but I didn't, because I was tired. I was like, I want my pajamas and dinner. So in hindsight, I would switch it round. And even if I did 20 minutes, because when I moved to supply, what I did is teaching mornings, I went to the gym, and even if I did 20, 30 minutes before school and then go a little bit later, because I knew I wasn't going to do it later. And it gave me that, it gives you that boost. I mean, it gives you that adrenaline rush. It gives you better focus, better energy. It literally kickstarts your day.
Yeah, you can change your habits in no time, because people that are feeling a bit sluggish, that are doing afternoon slumps, I know loads of people that do that because they're just eating just sugars throughout the day, and you're just feeling on them sugars, and then you just crash and burn. And if you're diabetic, you've got to be careful with what you're doing. But we can change that, our energy levels. I never get where I'm feeling tired. Years ago I used to, when I worked in salons, because even though I did martial arts every night, I drank a lot. I ate what I wanted. So even though I was very conditioned doing karate, I still drank a lot because I was young and I was going out. I would probably drink 3 nights a week, and then the week I'd work and do my training. But there's no way I would do that. I don't even drink anymore. Very rare that I would ever drink, because it's your mindset, my self-development, the mindset shift is just, it's had to come together. I can't just do one thing and not the other. So it is good, isn't it, that, what we are focusing on our mindset as well with the food. And, people can struggle, like you say, if you in a partnership and not everybody is on the same page. That can be quite challenging. I used to find working in gyms.
I think that what I love doing as well now is I have brought in the resets more. And the idea of the resets I do is, like you said, people do get into this routine of sugars to keep them going, the Diet Coke or the cereal bars or the digestive biscuits or whatever it is. So the reset that I do use is, I've got a little bottle here actually, because I took some to a meeting I went to this morning. It's like something out of Harry Potter. Little adaptogenic drinks that you can make into tea that help manage your stress levels, boost your energy levels. And the resets are about flooding your body with really good nutrition. So it's a combination of whole food nutrition. There's like a meal swap if you want it. There's the adaptogenic drinks, and they reset your gut health. They help eliminate the cravings. So after the 30 days, it's like fresh start. And then with my current group, we then build that into rethinking the word treat. So lots of people kind of grow up thinking chocolate is a treat or cake's a treat. And it's like, hang on, but you've come to me that your moods and your energy is all over. You've talked about the fact that the cake gives you a boost, but then you kind of crash afterwards. So is that a treat, or is it just cake that you like eating? And if you reframe ice cream and cake, no, ice cream is ice cream. Sometimes I have one. Cake is cake. But a treat that came up on my group call last week was avocado. One of the ladies said Her new treat is avocado because it's a little bit more expensive to add to her breakfast than a normal eggs on toast. But it fills her up, makes her feel good. It feels a little bit indulgent. So it's thinking, what are things that you can call treats that you look forward to, that you enjoy in the moment, and that still make you feel good afterwards? They may not be food related, but for me, a treat should be all round good.
Yeah, I think a lot I used to find working in gyms is that the emotional eating, people that are going through quite a lot in their lives that would go for foods and make them feel better, but then a few hours later, I think we all know what, we all emotional eating away and we all go for foods that the side where people feeling unhappy in the gym. So when what I used to see people's moods would elevate by working out, then they would want to eat well. So they would put that with that. And that's really good because we do start to see the benefits physically when we start making those changes. So we don't always want to spoil it by having like our treats. And yeah, I like avocado. I've just been shopping this morning. I got some avocado. My husband went, "Where do I put this?"
Wow.
He wouldn't even know what it is.
I had a really funny conversation about avocado actually with the same group. Was that the week before? About the avocado window of opportunity, that if you don't get the ones that are good to eat right now, you get the ones ripen at home.
Yeah.
And what this lady said, and she's absolutely spot on, she said they're not ripe, the next day they're not ripe, the next day they're not ripe, and then at like 2:15 on Wednesday they're ripe for about 10 minutes and then they go past it.
I don't know with these because at first I wasn't keen on them because I once had a really bad when it went mushy. So I just eat it when I get it from the supermarket. I just try and eat it the next few days, and I'll have some like scrambled egg or mushroom egg with it. But then I'm like, I don't know, how long does it last for? I've never really actually looked into it because you got to be careful sometimes, haven't you? Things can change. But what do you suggest with avocados?
I think it's literally a lucky dip, and I try and get them on the day or the day before they're ready to eat, and then at least they're. I was just thinking about you saying about emotional eating actually, because I think it's important for people to know that quite often you have coaches. So you'll have like a nutrition coach, sports coach, divorce coach, and that is very easy to assume that those coaches find it easy and that's why they do it. I find that every single coach I meet has been through something linked to their speciality, which is how they know they can help you. So for myself, I've done every diet in the past. I think I've done, I've tried it all. And I went through a phase of binge eating. So, I'd cut back a little bit through the day and it would get ridiculous of me. I'd go and have a piece of toast, come back, go and have a piece of toast. I could get through half a loaf or chocolates or most of a pack of biscuits. And I think exactly like you said, it's linked to your emotional, mental health as well. But then exactly what you've said, that as I've built my health, you don't want to spoil it. I know that if I have more than 2 or 3 alcoholic drinks now, that my skin looks older the next day, that I don't feel quite as good in the morning. I feel a bit groggy. Or it's like, well, you know what? Someone offered some chocolates this morning, but I'm not great with lactose. It won't make me feel good. So no, thank you. I have my little 100% dark chocolate in my handbag as I do.
You're always prepared, aren't you? Like you always, but it's cool. If you on my word this year was vitality, and so that covers everything. And you've got to be prepared. Even when I go out with my son, I take him little snacks, little raisins, things. My husband's like, "Why'd you take all this stuff?" And I'm like, "Because I'm not going to buy him junk food while I'm out because he'll just go crazy." So I'd rather just take some nice things with us, and then he's always got it in the car ready, so he can pick it that way. When I pick him up from school, I'll take him some raisins or something small, or a cheese, some cheese, because he loves that. And then he'll come home and have some tea. But what I used to do when he was younger, I used to take him chocolate as treats because when he started school, because I felt guilty sending him to school. And then I thought, I've got to start giving him chocolate at 3:30. Then he would have his tea because I thought, I'm just raising his sugar and I'm never going to bring him down. So I stopped doing that. And he's all right about it. I've kind of just done it sneakily. And he expects the better things now, so I do try and then make his choices healthier because he used to like cereal, and I'm like it's just not good for him every day. So I'm like, have some pancakes, have some grapes with it. So I think children, like, they do mirror what we do, So it is important that we are good advocates for our children as well, because it's hard. And I suppose you'll have a lot of people that have families that will not eat the same as the partners and the children. We don't all eat the same at all. There's 3 different meals going on in this house. But that's fine because I know that now and I can prepare for that.
I think as well, a lot of the kind of sugary treats for children comes more from the adults, because my experience, I used to enjoy doing about health eating when I used to teach. And one lesson that I do every year is I'd take in like some ready soaked overnight oats, and they'd all have a little cup, and they would choose if they wanted to put some honey on it or some cinnamon or some berries. And obviously there's no sugar in it, and they absolutely loved it. And I was surprised how many kids wanted the cinnamon, not the honey, to try. And then I'd do food tasting where I'd take things like bits of red pepper, bits of tomatoes, maybe some blueberries or something that I thought was a nice bit of sweet. And the number of kids at the beginning of the lesson would go, oh no, I don't like that. And at the end of the lesson, they went, oh, it's actually quite nice. And so many kids I know actually like things like olives that you wouldn't expect, or love having things like berries as treats. I think it's the grown-ups that go, here's some chocolate, have a treat.
It
Unless it's
is.
in front of them. If you put them in a sweet shop, absolutely. Stick them in Tesco in the sweet aisle, absolutely they're going to go, I want some of that. But put the healthy fruit in front of them. Most of them are quite happy with that. I think it comes more from adults than from the kids.
Yeah, it's because we condition our children to our habits, and like you're saying with our children when we go. So my son, I said, right, you need to have some raisins, have some different foods, and there was some like character ones, so I can just fill them up with those. But he thinks he's having that character's food, which is because on the TV, the subliminals, everything is conditioned. Our children think they're eating a certain foods because it's got something on the cereal box. But they are forming, they're probably actually at a worse point than we are, because we didn't have foods like that when we were younger. If you look at people, I don't remember people being severely obese when I was younger, like my nan and granddad. There was no junk food. They said we didn't have the money. There was no shops. We just had 3 bits on our plate and that was it. There were no puddings. Now and again you'd have a pudding and a treat. And that's how I grew up. But our children are different now because there's so much going on, and the TV is just rife for putting ideas into children's heads. So we're up against that as well. Like, it must be hard for you with, probably having parents as well, trying to get them, they're eating well.
Fizzy drinks used to just be at parties as well. You
Yeah.
didn't have them in the house. And it's again, the more you look into those with the artificial sweeteners, of the effect on like their brain health and brain development and behavior, and anxiety and things like that. And you actually, through the second half of my teaching career, you're just thinking there's something not right about the more and more behavior issues and the more and more anxiety issues. I think something that I find interesting, I would say, to get my head around is I'll get ladies who go, right, I'm going to stop buying in kind of the biscuits and things for me because I know they're not good for me, but I do need to buy them in for the kids. And it's like, hang on, you've got to nearly pick a side, because either they're not good enough for you and then they're not good enough for the kids, or they're absolutely fine for your health and they're absolutely fine for the kids' health to have on a daily basis, to need to have them in the house. And I think, yeah, again, it comes down to, is it us? Like, do we need to have them in the house every day? So what some people then swap to is go, actually, it's easier for me, for my health journey, to not have them in the house at all. And then, on a Saturday, if we go for a family day out and people want ice cream, we get ice cream rather than having the multi-pack in the house.
Yeah, and they're probably more inclined to eat more and eat better and not have the snacks in the evening, because a lot of people have cups of tea with biscuits at night, and that's a big downfall for even clients that I see now. They'll say, I can't help it now having a half pack of biscuits with a cup of tea or some Jaffa cakes. And, it's like when you have one Jaffa cake, you just probably want like 4 or 5. But it's just because foods are so available, and it's always at the end of the aisle, so we could just get it when we need it. I seen it for myself this morning. There's just Easter eggs out now, but Easter eggs, why can't it just come out in like March? Why does it have to come out in January? The children they're eating Easter eggs now, so they're not waiting where we would wait and have an Easter egg at Easter. But I don't know, there's just such a minefield, isn't it? So what do you do when people work with you? How do they work with you? What do you offer? Is it a membership or courses that you offer?
So I like to work in 12-week programs, just because, 3 weeks to build a habit, but actually 12 weeks, you've actually cemented that habit. So my current group, we're on week So I do one-to-one coaching that can obviously start at any time. And that's doing weekly coaching. I call it coaching my pocket because I have people will literally text me a food menu of where they're going out for dinner and go, just trying to
Yeah.
decide. So I do a completely I'm all yours 12-week one-to-one coaching, but the groups are just great fun because we have the Zoom calls and it tends to be the same ladies will jump on the Monday call every week or the same ladies jump on the Tuesday call. They kind of build a nice relationship there that they get to know each other. And we just do really simple step-by-step habits, even as simple as let's drink more water, or, how would you like your morning routine to work? And within that group, everyone is working at their own pace, building their habits. They've all got different goals because we've got everybody from, some ladies who are retired and just wanting to boost their energy a bit to a lady who is training for ultra marathons. So it's tailoring it to them. And then because my next group doesn't start till I think it's the 24th of March, my current one is the 30-day resets. And that is a really powerful thing to lead into the groups because, like I said, I put you on a really simple 30-day plan, mostly based around whole foods, but with some adaptogens and things in there as well and some swaps. And that is to just reset your energy, reset your gut health, drop a few pounds already if you like. One lady in the first 20 days of that dropped 11 pounds on the last reset I did. Just because it gives your body that complete break, release toxins.
Yeah, because you're getting rid of everything and you're doing it together. I think I love working together in groups, the accountability. It does work because I do it with my friend and we message each other each morning. We weigh in with each other once a week. But I went to school with her, so we can be quite personal with each other, what we share. Don't put it online. And she's doing the same journey as me, but that's our accountability. I say, how you feeling today? She's like, I'm feeling tired, I'm feeling this, so I'll give her advice and she'll just, we just help each other's mindset. I think that's the great thing about having somebody to coach with online. And there's no pressure then, is there? Everybody's, like you say, got different goals and no one's got the same goals. Absolutely no. I don't know one person who's probably got the same goal. Everybody wants to target something and gut health seems to be a big target at the minute. People are, once they change their gut health, then everything's changing. I think the hair,
I
the
think I do
skin.
nudge the gut health because the gut health obviously impacts on your moods and energy and like everything else. Yeah, but the group Zoom, I mean, the Zooms are literally half an hour and they come on and they give their 2 wins for the week. They always start on a positive because the more you can rewire your thinking that you're always starting to put, what have I achieved over the last week? 2 things that you've achieved. And then we put in some kind of new thinking for the middle section and then they go away with 2 new goals. And the 2 new goals might be the same as the previous week's goals, or they might be something new. And then, yeah, it's quite nice because they'll bounce ideas off each other. So the other week we were talking about, exercise does not have to look like a gym. Who's kind of been doing some alternative types of exercise recently, or who's come up with some? One lady had been to a roller disco. I didn't even know they still existed. I thought they
Oh,
were
I'd
left
love to go.
in
I love to. I was
the
thinking about it. I seen something online, a roller booting one, and I was like, oh, I'd love to do that. But I used to do it at my leisure centre where my son goes to youth club, and that the same hall when I was like 15, we have a disco. Yeah, that was every Saturday. And then I don't know what happened to that, so I don't know what happened to my roller boots either.
But that's where it's like, actually, when you go, whether it's with your partner, with your friends, with the kids at a weekend, exercise could be like, I mean, I don't know if you've been to one of these trampoline parks, but honestly, I had to
Yeah, we
sit
go
down and
out
try
every
and
two
breathe in a
weeks.
corner. They're knackering.
Yeah, I take my son every 2 weeks. He goes to a SEN group, and we can go on for free, us carers. So that's really good. But like a lot of the mums, like always say, "Oh, my bladder's bad." I'm like, "Oh, come on, let's go. I'm fine." So I end up sitting up with them most of the time because my son's like, "You can go away now. Don't leave me alone." But we can go on for free, which is good because it's like you say, you don't realise exercise should be fun and it should be able to do just go for a little walk to school. It's little things. People just think you've got to go to the gym and that's it, and you've got to get really sweaty. It's not for everybody exercise, not for the faint-hearted, is it? But you can discover new exercises. I do believe it's good to any age we can do exercise, and yeah, and it just helps support that nutrition as well because we don't want to be eating bad doing when we're exercising because we always feel like we're cheating ourselves. So that is what I think all humans do. We just like to do that. So tell us about your book. How's it going? How's the book sales going? Ellie has
Yeah,
published a
well,
book.
so excited because obviously it was you who gave me this opportunity, and I thought I never actually planned to do any kind of a book, and then opportunity came my way. I was really excited to do your training. I think I've managed to do it literally in a week or two of bits of spare time with a couple of late nights thrown in. And for me, it was about having this journal out there that, not everyone is ready to sign up to any kind of group or one-to-one coaching, but they want that little bit of accountability. And there's lots of kind of food journals out there that like, write down everything you eat or write how many calories or I don't know. Whereas the way I wanted it to be was a bit of a step-by-step guide. And then the pages are actually, what's 2 top protein sources you've had that day? What was your positive thought when you woke up in the morning? What's been your 2 wins today? So it's very much about a positive moving forward. So they started selling quicker than I thought online. But what I am particularly excited about is there's something that I now take to events. So I've got an event coming up next weekend. I'll take them along, and they're just a way that people can take that first step. And it's just exciting, isn't it? I'll have people messaging me going, "Oh, I've got your book and I'm using your book." And yeah.
It's weird because when I had a lady bought a couple of my books the other day, and she went, "Have you got more?" I went, "Yeah, I've got about 20." And they went, "Can you send me all of them?" Because she works with other women, and so I just sent her the link. She went, "Oh, there's so many like mood journals," because that's what I just started doing: fitness planners, weight loss trackers. Because you can do so many books for your business. Because when people will say to you, "Ellie, have you got this book? Have you got a meal planner book?" And then you go, "Actually, I've got, you can eventually have more books." Because it is quite I'm surprised you've not started another yet, because it can be quite.
I've got the second edition in mind because, when you look at your first and go, "That's great, but now I've got the next plan." So I need to bring out the second edition. So that might be a next step.
It is quite addictive, but you can support when you are doing these 12-week programs. The great thing is people will buy one of these to support them. So you're not only just writing in their book, they've got a journal that you've produced, and everything you're going to be talking about is going to be supported in the book. That's why I say to people, the books are just an amazing tool for your business, because you're not just you are going and you showing that you are really passionate about your business. And you are taking your book, and it's nice to have pictures done with your book. It's nice for people to give you compliments, say, "I've got your book, it's doing really well," and then people will finish the book and then they'll buy the book again. So people will always keep buying your book, and it's just a really good upsell, I think, for your business, because you can put your links in there, you put your QR code, you can do a few pages about you and who you are. Because, and like you say, you can just do some freebies or drop them off at some place where, nutrition place. And that's how you get yourself out there, I think. It's just that next step, isn't it? For your business. So do you do a lot of essential oils as well? Do you put them within your foods?
They're more something I discovered through a friend who works with them. And my favourite is the orange oil. So I've got a friend who's with doTERRA who got me into the orange oil. And I actually carry it around in my handbag, and it's my happy oil. So I just put it on my pulse points, as a lift, because again, it's one of those things that the more you research, it's just fascinating how quick that kind of goes to your brain and gives you that boost. So sometimes I then mix that. I've got a peppermint oil. I haven't massively got into using them in food yet. So that's the next step. The thing I have got into is the adaptogens, and that's things like, actually a whole range of botanicals. So just things like green tea extract to use the boost, and things like goji berry and schisandra and things like Siberian ginseng and all these names you hear going around. I've got adaptogenic drinks that basically have the lot in.
Do you make them or do you buy them?
It's actually a company I'm with that I got them through, because then they're a fully, they literally have everything in one. So yeah, I've got those, but I've got those available to clients that quite often they add them on to what they're doing as a swap for their current coffees, Diet Cokes, things like that.
I do see a lot of different things. You can buy like little ginger shots. I've had a few of those before. And then instead of, like you say, having some, a cake and a coffee, a Costa, you can have this little shot. And I know it's not eating the same, you're not getting the same enjoyment out of a cake, but you will feel better. And I feel like after, sometimes you can go to choose something. I do that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. And then I think I fancy that. And then I count back, and then I'll think, do I really want it now? And then when you come back to it, you've kind of forgotten about it. So it's what your brain's telling you at the time. It can be quite deceiving, your brain, and it can trick you quite a lot into having, when you're feeling low, you go and get a cake, you go and get some crisps or something. But we can actually challenge our brain a little bit. So I think we do need that little bit of mind strength, don't we, as well, when it comes to foods and choices.
I'll tell you what as well, my favourite place on the planet is Mexico. I'm going for the 7th time this year.
Wow.
So again, that's a place I'm fascinated with so much about it. And you've got the Mayans and you've got the Aztecs, and it's said that the Aztec army pretty much ran on chocolate. I mean, their own version of hot chocolate, which was cacao, and think things like cinnamon and chili. And I created my own tea. I just make it for myself at home with like cacao bark and chili and what do I put in? Cloves, cinnamon, and I make like a spiced tea. So much of my life is based around chocolate, but chocolate that has no sugar or anything else in. So I have my like little squares. I've got two here. So I never go anywhere without my little squares of 100% Montezuma dark chocolate. Then I'm halfway through a hot chocolate, which is just plant milk with some natural cocoa in it, frothed up. And then I'd show you, but I've eaten it all. Another favourite little snack. This happens, doesn't it? Another favourite little snack now is just in a little pot, so you kind of manage your sizes. I put a few mixed nuts, a few raisins, and a few 100% dark chocolate chips. And when it's mixed in with raisins and things, it doesn't taste bitter. So actually, so much of my diet is based around chocolate, but obviously the healthy version, because chocolate is anti-inflammatory, it's antioxidant, gives you a mood boost, gives you an energy boost. So if you are thinking I love chocolate, I couldn't give it up, don't. I haven't.
I think a lot for me is I've a couple of years ago I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia. So a lot of it is, I always put it down to what could it be? Could it be foods? Could it be anti-inflammatories? But at the time I was PTing in a gym, my health was so good, but it was probably a lot of other things that can be triggered. But I do feel like when I eat foods with high sugars, my fibro is on fire. So I do feel I have to be careful what I eat. Alcohol can completely trigger. If I went on a night out and drank Gamma-Tea for 2 days, it's like a relaxant. It does something. It fires. My body just feels so sore. And I think a lot of people with arthritis, they've got to be careful, with anti-inflammatories in the gut and what they need. So having little things like that is, are really good. So I don't really want to feel the pain, and I've been in a really good place at the minute. And I think because I am being careful what I eat, and it does make a difference. Like you said, on your joints, we get to an age, keep saying my age, but, I've noticed a difference since I turned 40. I'm like, why am I aching? Why's my knees aching? And my mum's like, because that's welcome to your 40s. Like, wait till you get...
when you stand up? Because I do now. You make that groaning noise, don't you, when you stand up?
Like, oh, yeah, my back. And I used to be like jumping out floor doing the splits and doing kickboxing, and because I've stopped at that high impact, my knees do creak a little bit, but that's probably because I've done that much damage to my body over the years I over-exercise, I've over-dieted for years, and I have ruined my body. I've been a massive yo-yo dieter for years. I've been on, like you said, every diet that I can go. My weight's been up and down for years, and I've reached a point now I can't carry on doing that. I have to just make lifestyle changes and cut everything out. I'm just cutting out all refined sugars, and cereals, everything. Anything that's in a packet, I just completely stay. You've just got to be really careful. If I'm going to have it, I know the consequences, how I'm going to feel. And you do feel like sugar rush, don't you? And that slump. So if you are in tune with your body, I feel like you can, be aware of the signs. But when we are on a sugar high all the time, we don't see the signs, do we? Because we're constantly in that cycle. So you'll see people that will improve.
I think so. It's like when I work with people, nothing is banned, but be aware of what you're eating. So it's knowing that refined sugar is an inflammatory, that right, realistically, they reckon around 3/5 of people will die of an inflammatory disease. Refined sugar is an inflammatory. Inflammation can lead to things like diabetes, arthritis, asthma. I mean, even things like cancer. And I'm not saying that to be a scare. I'm saying be aware of it. So have the bit of sugar, but if you're feeling like you're struggling with your health and you're definitely having refined sugar every day or a few times a day, or maybe in every meal if you're having processed foods, going, do I want to make a change to my health, and being aware of that?
Yeah, it's just taking the time. That's what I've done. I've lost, since December, near enough 2 stone. So it's been a slow thing, but my heaviest I've never been this heavy in my life. So, but I've just got myself in a rut, and I think you just do, don't you? Everybody does it. No matter whether I'm a qualified personal trainer or not, I am still a human being, and I can train people all day. when it comes to yourself, when you're struggling with pain and other things, things are just starting to change. My body is changing so much at the minute, but I cannot eat the same anymore. I'm really full really quick, and I'm having literally no cravings for anything. And that's just little things that I've just tweaked. It's not crazy. I'm not allowed to stop alcohol because I'm really drinking. It's just certain tweaks that I've done, which is made that different. But if I want a treat, I'll have a treat. But I'm not inclined to do that now because I'm seeing the physical is weighing out now. My clothes are getting bigger, but I've still got a long way to go. I've got to, I don't really like to say, I don't like to say to people about weight and stone, but for my health, I've still got a long way to go to get back to what, if I'm not going to have that pain, and I've got asthma as well, so I've got to make sure that my health is good. 43 this year. I've got to be good, fit at 43. I've got till May.
That's the way to look at it, though, is that you're losing the weight for your health. If you're losing it because you're thinking, I'm looking after my health and there's certain health conditions I'm trying to avoid or move away from, then you're going to eat the right nutrition to look after those, as opposed to just doing the calorie cutting. I mean, it's scary how many, so every time you go online now, how many more quick fixes there are of just, whether it's pills or injecting or anything else that you can do, which some of those, when supervised, absolutely can help you on the right path, but they're meant to be alongside, if you have them, like injections, it's meant to be alongside building a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
So, I know ladies who are using an injection to support their journey, but I know that they're working really hard on their healthy habits and using it as a support. So they're having like the protein and the healthy fats and looking after their energy and looking after their hormones and getting actual real food in. So I think that's really important. It's not I'm against any method, but it's, are you looking after your health as a whole in doing it?
Yeah, so when they do come off, injections and things like that, just carrying on what you're doing. And people
Yeah,
do need that
yeah.
nudge sometimes. I do believe that. Even, I work as a PT and I'm under no illusion that people say to me, I can't lose this weight. It is really hard to lose weight. And it's never been this hard for me to lose weight because when I was younger, things were different. But I know myself, I've experienced myself, and I won't make excuses for myself. But things do slow down and things change. Your lifestyle changes, your mindset changes, your priorities, I think, can change a lot when you get to a certain age and you're comfortable and, you're happy. And that's it you do when you're in a relationship. You do pile on the pounds, I do believe. I always blame my husband. I said, this is your fault, this. He went, don't blame me. He said.
Well, I'm surprising. I mean, because he loves going to the gym. Sometimes he's really proud of himself and make a great cooked breakfast to get all the right foods in. Sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he just likes to get takeaway. He does buy in those packets of like the giant cookies. In fact, this is really weird because when we first met about 11, 12 years ago, he didn't have anything sugary. He wasn't fussed about sugar. I quite like sugar. We've done a complete swap. So the top shelf of our fridge now is filled with like gummy fruit sugar sweets, but they're not mine.
Sounds like mine.
And then there's a pack of those giant cookies. And every now and then I will have one of them. In fact, I'll tell him I'm having half and then I'll have the other half later. But the difference is it's every few weeks I have one of them. Whereas I can remember when I was about 20, I would actually do this. I would go to Tesco, I would do the food shop, I'd buy the packs, the 4 or 5 giant bakery cookies. I'd put all 4 or 5 of them in the bowl, put a few scoops of ice cream on top and have that as an
Wow.
afternoon snack.
Wow, that is a lot. It is a lot of carb loading and a lot of calories,
With
that,
carb
isn't it?
loading.
And
Yeah, I
then
wasn't burning
sugar.
it off.
And it's not just that, it might be a treat, but that sugar is, you cannot burn that. Nobody can burn that. Even an
That's
athlete
thousands,
would
isn't it?
struggle. Yeah, an athlete would struggle to burn that. So you'd have to be an athlete to just go and burn that off straight away. So like you say, you just don't carry on that the day after. I say to people, if you're going to have that, don't let it deter you for the next day. Just think the next day I'm going to do better. I'm just going to, you
Yeah,
just
and
like a little bit more way.
don't do the thing where you deprive yourself. You could have slightly lighter. You can go, you know what, I'm having an omelette for breakfast, but don't deprive yourself. That's how you get on that cycle of you then don't eat the next morning. You think I'll just have a coffee. Then you get really hungry, and the only thing closest to you is biscuits at work. And then you think, oh God, I've eaten biscuits, I've got to not eat again. And that's where you get stuck. So exactly what you just said, get up and just eat how you normally would the next morning.
Just keep going. And a lot of people do, I say, because I used to do this when I used to work in salons. I'd come home and say if I go and get some petrol, and you grab something because it was a long drive home. And I used to eat in the car, and like this wasn't my tea. This could have been a pack of crisps or some biscuits or like a little bar. And I see people doing it now when they're eating in the car, and I can see them in like 5, 6 o'clock traffic, just shoveling their faces like that, or McDonald's. And I think I used to be that person where you just think, I need to eat because I'm starving. But if I'd have regulated my food throughout the day, I wouldn't have had that. I wouldn't be starving. Then I'd be think, I'm looking forward to my meal. But when you are like starving at 4, 5, that you need to just balance it. I feel throughout the day, like you say, with some like raisins and some nuts, or like a boiled egg. I just have a couple of boiled eggs done in the fridge, and then I can eat one of those. Boiled eggs, like you said, we spoke the other week when we did that collaboration with Alice and Victoria. Boiled eggs, I said air fryer, put them in the air fryer for 4 or 5 minutes,
I've
just
not
leave
tried it
them.
yet.
Yeah, you need to try. Well, my son had eggs the other night, and I've made them in the air fryer, and they were nice dippy eggs. So he loved that. So yeah. What's next for Ellie then? So if people want to work with you, where can they find you? What's coming up? And I'll put all your links in the show notes.
So I have got my next group starting towards the end of March. I am keeping them to small groups because I like to personally know each person in the group, and I like the calls to be quite intimate as well, so they know each other. So I think I literally just released that about a week ago. If that, I think I have about 6 spaces left on that. If anyone wants a kickstart before that, I'm offering a bit of a bonus, the reset, where you get free coaching alongside that to get you to that group. And I also have a space for a one-to-one client at the moment. There'll be another one opening up next month as well. But in the meantime, I would say just find me online. I'm on Facebook, Ellie Ultimate Health. I've even got a private members group, which works out just £4 a week. If you just feel like you need to be on a page where you see some little ideas every day and where you just kind of kept going, I have that space as well for people who just want to be surrounded by people online who are on the same journey.
Yeah, it's something for everybody, isn't there? People can do that £4 a week, and then they can up that, and if they take them next steps, and I'll work one-to-one, because we all do it, don't we? We try different things, and sometimes we just need that little bit of help. So it's just dipping your toe in, I think, is quite nice, and then slowly get used to people. And if you are looking for a community, you've got that to offer. I think that's the best thing for people. Feel like you're on the same page, because you don't always get that support at work or at home. So having people that you don't know is quite nice, more impartial, isn't it, than having, people that that you're always sulking about this, and they're probably sick of hearing about your dieting and your food. You can kind of keep that separately, can't you? Which is nice.
They're not always helpful either, because I found actually sometimes the people closest to you that are least helpful with your health journey, because you're doing something different to what they're used to you doing. And I find that with some of the people I work with as well, is actually when they decide they want to make this change, those around them, it's like you said, some of those people around us aren't necessarily on that same journey, so aren't going to necessarily keep you on it. Whereas if you put yourself into that community, and like I said, it's that space where you can come in if you decide you want to up level at any point. This kind of offers for people in the group to just sneak a bit of extra coaching in there.
Yeah, so it's all good. I'm excited to see your journey, and no doubt I do see Ellie. I do network with Ellie, and yeah, we've done a collaboration the other week, didn't we? So it was really good. So it's funny, like, it's divine timing, and we was meant to meet, and we're going to keep bumping into you loads of times this year, won't we? But it's just nice to see your journey as well, and you see me changing, and what I'm doing. So it's good that I've got like-minded people that are around me. It's important that then people come on the podcast, get involved with my community as well. So thank you, Ellie, for coming on the podcast. Sorry about me choking, by the way. I'm scared. I'm scared. I might edit it out, I might not. Yeah, I scared Ellie, like, I couldn't breathe. I was like, what's going on? I don't know what happened. When you got to feel like you swallowed a fly. How can I just start choking? I think my throat just like dried up. I must have just needed more water. I've got a big enough water Stanley cup. So
when you're on calls, I did it on a call the other week. I think it was a recorded call as well, and I just couldn't stop. And I was thinking, what do you do at that point? Do I just go under the desk for a minute?
Like, yeah, I should have just paused it straight away. I was like, oh, babe. I started to panic, and then your throat dries up then. So that's the cue for me to drink more water today, but I am drinking a lot of water at the minute. Keeping me up at night, but the water is a big thing. We need to keep on with our water. That does help our digestion as well. But yeah, thanks, Ellie, for coming on, and I will put all the links to Ellie. You can go and follow her on all the socials, And if you're interested in anything that Ellie's doing, just contact Ellie direct herself. So thank you so much for listening and taking the time to come on the podcast. And I will speak to you soon. Bye for now. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope you feel inspired to take action and manifest the life you deserve. Don't forget to come and join me over on social media and Instagram at Busy Mums Fitness Corner for more tips, motivation and behind the scenes. And also be sure to check out my books on Amazon. They're designed to help you manifest your dreams and grow. And if you're ready to take the next step and work with me, you can head over to my Linktree for all the details. Let's make magic happen together. So until next time, keep manifesting and stay amazing.